Hey everybody, it's Georgia Rose. Welcome to 2024. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I was thinking the other day when I woke up like New Year's Day, and I was thinking about when I was a kid. If someone had said 2024, I would have been like, I can't even imagine. We'll probably be flying around in cars in the sky and things like that, right? It's so funny to now be in 2024. So anyway, welcome to the Soul Space podcast. We are your one stop place for tarot and astrology and spiritual guests. And hopefully, I can guide you in 2024 to become even more powerful in your own potential than you've been. So, we're a community here, and I'm just going to share the show to anyone who is interested. If you want to share the show as well, I would love that. Because the more people that we get in our Zen Kuda community, the more people are going to be living up to their potential, finding their soul space, having a much easier time in life. So I am just going to be watching the comments also during the show. You can comment live. You can also call into the show if you'd like. And that's how we do things around here. So I'd love to hear about all of you and the 2024 that you had so far, right? What was New Year's like for you? What was your holidays like? I felt like my holidays were really nice. I had some family over to my home, which I haven't done in a few years, and it was actually very nice, very cozy. I think that was how the astrology was going to be. And then New Year's, I actually did something I've never done on New Year's before. New Year's Eve, I went to a local theater and we had a comedy show. So I said to myself, last year was a little bit of a challenging year, I think, for a lot of us. And the energy was a little bit stagnated and it felt maybe like a little heavy at times. We had a lot of challenges out there in the world. So I said to myself, I want to start 2024 with laughter. So we went out to this early bird comedy show. We had a really nice time. So it was an interesting way to start the new year. Might become a tradition for me. I don't know. It can't be a bad thing to start the new year with laughs, right? So as I said, I'd love to hear about your New Year's. I've got some people on. So tonight I'm going to talk a little bit astrology, let you know what's going on in January for 2024, and hopefully that'll help you with some guidance in your own New Year's resolutions. And then maybe we're going to go to some cards. I know I haven't been on in a few weeks, so my regulars are probably missing me and wondering where I am and probably forgot that I'm on Monday night. So spread the word again, guys, okay? So, astrology wise, January is an amazing month for astrology. 2024 in general is going to be an amazing year. I have to say that many times over the last few years, as I start the new year and the new soul space, is always some, kind of trepidation because there's some things coming in that can be very challenging for us. We went through the COVID years and we went through all the interactions with political things and all that stuff. This year for 2024, I am very pleased to say it has the potential to be lining up as a really great year. That's not to say we're not going to see some things crumble and a lot of changes, but it has the potential to be such an amazing year for all of us if we just listen a little bit to the guidance that I'm going to give you tonight. So, one of the first biggest things that's happening in January is finally, after many, 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 many months, all of the planets will be direct after about the third week of January. So we go into February with all moving forward energy, which I can almost hear you guys just all breathe a collective sigh of relief. Because last year was this really frustrating energy of start, stop, because of some of the aspects that we had playing in the zodiac. This year, the energy really is more of a forward momentum. In January, on the 20th of the month, Pluto goes into Aquarius, where it will be for 20 years. That completely changes the game for all of us. So you want to look where Aquarius is in your chart. And if anybody wants to comment on that, if they have a chart at home or wants to, call in and talk about that, you can. Bobby will put the number on the screen, or Carmine, our new assistant down here in the studio. And you can call in during the show. We'll chat a little bit. So the Aquarius energy coming in with Pluto there is a huge thing. Pluto in evolutionary astrology, which is the type of astrology that I do, Pluto is our soul's intention. And for the world, Pluto in Aquarius is going to aspect whatever house Aquarius is in for us. If you don't know where that is, you can give me a jingle, or you can just go on to astro.com or cafeastrology.com, put in your birth data, and get your very own chart for free. So Aquarius is an energy that breaks things apart. Now, I know you're all like, oh no, not again. Haven't we had enough stuff broken apart? But the thing about Aquarius is it does it, and it also gives us what I like to think of as the back end of things. Whereas in Capricorn, Pluto kind of wore down structures and crumbled a lot of things that were going on in the world. In Aquarius, that energy breaks things apart, but it's ruled by the planet Uranus, which breaks things apart very rapidly, and it does it to change them up. But the overall goal of that energy is to bring us into a higher level of consciousness. So things will occur that are going to bring you into a place that for a little while it might feel like, oh my gosh, where am I? I don't know where this place is. It's like when Dorothy's house fell in The Wizard of Oz. Think about a time in your life when you felt like that. I know for me, if I go back into my own personal history, I can think about a very Aquarian, Uranian time in my life as a child where my father left our family, and it put us in very dire straits, and in a place where like I really didn't ever know what a landscape looked like without dad. And so it was almost like at that age of 12, 13, being plunked down in a whole new foreign land. That's Aquarius. So with Pluto going in that part of our charts, wherever Aquarius is for you, things can occur this year and over the next 20 years that are going to make you feel completely disorientated. But the good thing is, in that disorientation, we're led to somewhere where we reorient ourselves in a much higher way. It's also an energy of a lot of new beginnings, technology. You're going to see a lot of healing modalities come in, a lot of things happening in the world with healing and things like that. So this energy, when you really think about it, has a beautiful capability of bringing us into an elevation of ourselves. Now, that's not to say that the disorientation may not be rough, but whatever happens in our personal lives, it's almost like a crisis of consciousness, because it brings us to a place where when we emerge out of it, we're like reinvented and in such a better place. Just want to read some of your comments. So, hey, everybody, how are you guys doing? Happy New Year, Sarah. Happy New Year, Stephanie. Condolences to Stephanie. She just lost her mom. Monica's here. Happy New Year, Monica. Loving you. Sarah says laughter is a great way to start the new year. Yeah, I had to do it. I just had to do it. Barbara, how are you doing? And I have Ann on here. Aaron. Hey, Aaron from Texas. I know he's North Node is an Aquarius, but I'm going to talk to you about that. And I've got Christina Galicia on here. She's a new watcher. Welcome, Christina. So, Aaron, your North Node is in Aquarius, and I'm going to tell you that's a good thing, because that probably means, the North Node in our chart points to what we're being attracted to and where we're being pulled in our lifetime, where the soul's intention is really being pulled is that North Node house. So in Aquarius with Pluto there, it's going to bring about some changes, but it's going to be a lot of transformation, bringing you to the actual natural guidance and attractors of your soul. So, for instance, just as an example, I'm not saying this is it, but as an example, if you were led to bring a course of study, like I know you're doing, or change a job, or be led to a different philosophical approach on something, it depends on what house it's in, it would be something that attracts you, that's for your absolute soul's intention and path in this lifetime. And how beautiful is that? So don't have negative energy about the North Node in Aquarius for yourself. My South Node is there, as you and I have discussed many times. We have reversal nodes, which is also, by the way, a karmic pattern of people who are brought into each other's lives to become teachers to each other. And I always get a kick out of your posts and things that you do. So it kind of teaches me to lighten up, right? How beautiful is that? But getting back to the North Node in Aquarius, you want to look at what house that's in, because more than likely, think about what's attracting you. Who am I being led on an arc of development for? Where have I been taken to where in the past I felt like I'm in a completely foreign land? Those are the kind of sensations you want to go into. And then think about how you dealt with that and how that shaped you in your life. That's Aquarian energy. Like when I had that happen to me at a young age and my dad left the family, even at a young age, strangely enough, I turned to a lot of philosophy. And at the time, I remember Billy Graham was on television. My grandma, my Nona, used to listen to him. And I got really involved even as a kid, like with books about positive mental attitude. Like at 13, I was reading W. Clement Stone. And all those things. So what it did, if you think about it, the crisis that I had where my life was kind of disrupted and I was, taken to Oz, it caused me to grow up fast. It caused me to become stepping into my own competency of, well, you can really handle this. It's going to be okay. So at a very young age, being propelled to that and being attracted to the philosophies, the religious type of things, the teachings that gave me stability in my life. If I didn't have that crisis of my dad leaving the family and being put into a world I didn't know how to navigate or was disorientated with, I wouldn't have reorientated to the basis of faith that is what I do today, whether I believe in evolutionary astrology or tarot or, the connection with the other side. It's all had its roots in a faith and a belief in something. And that came from the disorientation, the abduction of life as I knew it at a very young age. So that's the kind of things that Aquarius energy does with Pluto. It's going to work in a very Uranian way that's ruled by the planet Uranus. And by that, I mean Uranus is quick electricity. I always say, it's the lightning in the room. You're sitting in the dark, the power goes out, and you're like, oh, how am I going to find a candle? I can't light my way. What am I going to do? And then a flash of lightning comes and you realize where the candle is and you see and you're orientated. That's Pluto in Aquarius. The lightning strike comes to show you where everything is and follow your map, right? So that's the energy that's coming in for the next 20 years. Because now this planet is shifting into this whole new sign for us, this whole new energetic imprint for us, whole new lens in which we're going to see the world through. We're all going to have deeply transformative things that will occur. Now, I'm not saying they're going to occur in a flash in a day, but over the next several years, life is definitely going to take on new meaning and different aspects for us. So if there's anything that you've been really compelled to do between now and January 20th is a time to tie up all of your loose ends. Whatever loose ends you have that are around 15 years old or that have occurred in the last 15 years, now's the time when you're going to go back and tie them all into neat little bows, because that energy is closing and ending. And what I was going to say is that energy that is closing and ending, those patterns and those things, those Capricornian structures, when they end for good, because this is a very final type of energy when it shifts. So that's why we're seeing a lot of people leave this world, transition to another, people passing on, animals passing on. It's the end of a lot of life cycles for us. So I just want to check the comments. I'm going to answer a few questions. North Node is in the first house in Virgo. That would mean that you're really here to be of service to the world. I would have to read the whole chart, but just in glancing at that, that would be what that means. Hey, Kirsten, how are you doing? Elizabeth is Taurus also. So Pauline's asking if her MC in Taurus is... I thought I saw, maybe I was seeing things. Yeah, wait, did you ask me if that was good for real estate? Yeah, MC Taurus, good for real estate. So the MC in Taurus, and the MC in our chart is our occupation, what we're led to do for a vocation or an occupation. Taurus, you would be led to do with anything for the earth. Normally, if I'm just glancing at a chart, and again, I'd have to see the whole chart, but normally if I'm glancing at a chart and I see someone with their MC in Taurus, that for me means somebody who, it would almost be like a gardener or someone who really loves to garden, is into earth or plants or works in a nursery or as a florist or something like that. It's going to be a very earthy energy. It's going to be someone who works around food or something with the senses, right? Because Taurus is very sensuous energy. So especially you said was in the first house, I think you said. Just going to look because there's so many comments on here now. Oh no, the first house is Virgo. So Taurus MC is definitely going to lead you to professions that are very sensuous. And by sensuous, I don't mean sexual. I mean the senses, the five senses. It's going to be something artistic. It's ruled by Venus. So think of things that we love, artistic things like that. MCs more suitable for real estate would be Libra, Capricorn, those kind of things. I miss you too, Kirsten. We have to get together. I should have a lunch at my house for all the ladies that I used to know. I didn't mean that the way it sounded. It's like all the ladies that I used to know, Linda Amori and Kathy, and she was just on the show recently, and Kirsten, and all of us, we used to always like have this like kind of, we used to call it the witches coven, but it was like we always used to get together and we do a lot of spiritual stuff. And then since COVID, none of us have gotten back to that. So, yeah, see, you've had a lot of people pass away in your patients. That's true. It's really an end of a huge life cycle. And Pluto is death and transformation. So when it changes signs, which it does like every 20 to 24 years, 15 to 24 years, it's a lot of endings and beginnings. So if you found the last quarter of 2023 where a lot of energy was getting like sewn up, done, that's why. All right. Hey, Christopher Colucci, how are you doing? So I've got Elizabeth Snyder here, my buddy from Florida, who is one of my ladies that we used to do all kinds of spiritual stuff with. Liz went to a vintage shop today, and she said the veil is thin. I have to tell you, the veil is very thin. As a matter of fact, if Stephanie's on, she had an experience today, which I won't talk about, but it's for her to know and me. The veil is very thin. The messages that we're getting from the other side, for all of us who are in tune to that, which technically we all are, but for those of us who are normally getting those, are very, very heightened right now. And I think that will continue as the years progress. I'm going to go to some cards in a few minutes for you guys. We're seeing the veil become so much thinner. And a lot of that has to do, as I wrote down in my notes, and I didn't even get to any of this, but we probably won't get to it tonight. There's a lot of, because Pluto's in Aquarius and that Uranian energy is in play, we've got Jupiter in Taurus with Uranus. There's a lot of seismic activity in the world, solar flares and earthquakes, and a lot of shaking up. A lot of our gurus and people who meditate, and even myself in meditations, and my good friend who journeys all the time, we're seeing like actual visuals of the world shaking. And that's because of a lot of the energy that's surrounding the planet right now. This is going to be a very fast, dynamic year. And because of that, solar flares and seismic activity, it also affects human behavior. And our spidey senses are going to be extremely heightened by these type of things. It's also a year where we have a tremendous amount of light in play. The solar flares coming in, different light factors coming into the planet. And I'm trying to say this in a very simplified way. You can always look these things up or talk to me in an appointment if you want to go really deep into these things. But when we have an energy like this, number one, the veil becomes very thin between worlds, and we all can get very good cognitive and intuitive messages. Number two, that's why you've got to protect your space and your soul space. And when I say protect, I don't mean ward off evil or to be focused or conscious on evil. What I mean by that is you've got to have a place that you go, your soul space, right? We're in the soul space now. You've got to have a place that you go where you're anchored into your own agency and your own stability. Because this is going to be a rock and roll year out there. And on the one sense, yes, the veil's thin and we can get messages and find all kinds of things. But on the other hand, it also creates a lot of chaotic behavior with humans in the world who don't understand energy. So that's why out of any time I've ever said this, and I say this often, this is the year you want to start developing spiritual practices where you are anchored into a very stable energy. Your Zen is really unflappable. That's what Zenkuda is all about, is protecting that beautiful Zen and stepping into your own power and your own agency. This year that will be tested, okay? So we have to really make sure that we're not being so distracted by social media. We're not being so pulled in and entangled by the things that are going on in the world. More important than ever for you to have your own sanctuary, your own soul space, your own agency that you keep going back to for your own stability. That's the only way you're going to be able to navigate these energies, which will really want to pull you in a lot of different directions. We've got a lot of like energy. It's almost like I'm thinking of like almost like you remember in the amusement parks, that old fashioned ride that was the shaker, and they used to just shake you. That's how the energy in the earth is right now. And it will continue to be that way. So don't be affected by that turbulence. Find that soul space, find the meditations. And a lot of the work that I do this year is going to be able to guide you to that. All right. I'm going to be doing some videos about how to really stay anchored into your own agency and how to really build up your own confidence and competency. Okay. Just want to talk one more thing about the astrology, and then we'll go to cards. And that is there's a new moon in Capricorn, January 11th, which, of course, is this Thursday. That new moon in Capricorn is really setting off the energy this year of dynamic type of focus. All right. Capricorn energy is an energy of breaking things apart, again, for our higher consciousness. But it's also a time when, on that new moon, and new moons when we always plant our seeds, during that new moon, what you really want to do is think about who are you becoming. Go back into 2023 and think about the habits, right? Whether it's, kind of superficial habits about diet and exercise, you want to stop smoking, or you want to exercise more, or you're going to gossip less, or, you want to be more diligent about your appearance, or whatever it is, all those, very superficial resolutions that we make that are important as well. And then also look at 2023 and what were your habits as far as your spiritual practices, your relationships, your finances. And when you look back at that, just do like a little quickie review. You probably started to do one around the first of the month and then you got knocked around because of the holiday stuff. But just go back and do a little review of 2023. And while you're doing that, think about, if I continue to do all of the habits, you can even, make a little note, write journal. Journal is a great exercise. Journaling is great to anchor yourself in your identity and your agency. It says who you are. So go back and think about 2023, your habits, the things that you've done. And not to say, oh, I have to change this, I have to change that. That's part of it. But what you want to do is think about, if I keep doing my life exactly as I did last year, and I continue on the same paths as last year, who am I becoming? That's Capricorn energy. Who am I becoming? Where am I headed to? Where am I going to? And what you want to do is look at that little list you made, or if you mentally thought about some of your practices and your habits and your daily, schedules. If you continue on those things, who are you becoming? And what of those things can I bring forward to make some changes, and those things that really align with the agenda of who I want to become? And what do I need to discard because those things are standing in the way of who I want to become? Sometimes that works so much better than resolutions, because you're actually looking at your activity, your actions, and how you're activating your plan for your life, right? Like, take, for instance, you want to stop smoking, right? But you're smoking 3 cigarettes a day. Well, if I keep smoking 3 cigarettes a day, that's in complete opposition to the goal, right? So you got to get rid of that or change that. What do you have to do to become who you want to become? I want to become a person who doesn't smoke. What do I have to do? Well, you got to take some actions, right? Maybe that means going to the doctor or whatever it means for you. Same thing with your spiritual habits. I really want to get into a deeper meditation practice. Okay, well, how much have I meditated in 2023? Well, I really didn't meditate much. I guess I meditated a few times when I went to yoga. So is that going to help you become that person who meditates? You got to change it up. So you see where I'm going with this? That's Capricorn energy, going down a trajectory of your life. Think about the trajectory you're on, not something as simple as, wow, I really need to change that. I really want to stop smoking. I've just got to stop smoking. No, embody it and anchor it in the activity. If I keep doing it, it's not going to get me what I want. What I want lies on the other side of this. So it's really interesting when you switch your perception, how that's going to work. I'm just going to read comments, then we're going to do cards. So, yep, the coven. The coven. Remember, Kristen? Kristen was part of the coven. It is nice to see you, Chris. And I think I still owe you a reading, so we can even do it by Zoom if you want. Veil is very thin, Elaine says. And Elaine knows she's one of my readers. I go to her. I got to go to you, Elaine. Aaron says, hey, that's me superficial. It is not. And we're going to do a card for Liz. And there was somebody who was asking me about their chart. Capricorn does signify discipline, but not in the way most people classically think, Carrie. It does mean that. But Capricorn, that's the classic definition, if you're doing classic astrology, in a deeper way, what Capricorn does is it brings discipline into our life to create structure. And the more meaningful reason it does that isn't just for a daily routine. It brings discipline into our life to create structure so that we have the structures we need and the foundations we need to find more meaning in life. And that's why I brought up the meditation kind of thing. In a new moon like Capricorn, most people think of it as, structure, laying your business plan. And it certainly is that type of energy. But it's the deeper underlying meaning is to create the structures we need in our life to evolve. Astrology is all about evolution. It's not always predictive. It's all about evolution. That's why I use it for guidance. So definitely, you're right, absolutely on the right track as far as it being, Elaine. I'm sorry, I'm reading comments. Definitely on the right track as far as it being disciplined. So Stephanie just lost her mom. She said her mom's name is Elaine, and she just passed. Yeah, that's Elaine Risotto is one of our readers. She does cards, and I actually go to her because I can't read my own cards. I can read everyone else's cards, can't read my own. Definitely reading cards tonight, Kim. I'm getting there. I knew when Elaine Elaine and Kristen saw each other online, they'd be like, "Oh my God!" So I got to have everybody over for a lunch. We definitely got to have a reminisce. Okay, so I'm going to go to cards. And then somebody had asked me about their MC on the comments as well. Let me see if I can find it. There's just a lot of comments on this, a lot of you on tonight. I know we have to. The energy in the room be off the charts. We used to do these weekly things where we all got together and tried to contact aliens and had had meditations and all this crazy stuff. It was so cool though because I got to tell you, we were like novices at a lot of stuff, but man, stuff happened that nobody could think about. Monica says her MC is in 10th house in Cancer. So you're definitely geared to professions that are going to be very empathic and compassionate and caring. Also, anything to do with home. Cancer is an energy of... it's the embodiment of Cancer is a moon sign. So it's almost like the dark of the night, that deep inner feeling and place that we go, our deep vulnerability. So usually somebody with Cancer in their 10th house is sometimes you're going to see people who, are caretakers usually have that energy, any kind of thing like that, or someone who takes care of a lot of things. All right. Especially in a very sensitive way. Okay. So who am I reading first here? I'm going to go to Liz. Going to pull a card for you. Okay. Some cards for Liz in Florida. Everybody say hi to Liz. She actually gets to see all of Elon Musk's stuff go off all the time. So I have my camera on the table with my trusty guy in back, Carmine, who we love. Everybody shout out to Carmine, who's got the camera on our cards tonight. So Liz, first card I pulled for you was the Ace of Cups, which is one of my favorite cards in the deck. The Ace of Cups is a card of new beginnings, which is absolutely completely fitting for the Aquarius energy coming in the new year. Also, I have the Knight of Cups next to that, which the Knight of Cups is usually a younger male person. Cups is a water sign, so that would be Cancer or Pisces. And then the next card that I got was the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands is a card of battle. It's a card of competition. But when the Seven of Wands card comes up in the reading, it really is a card where it's showing me that the battle is over. So if I had to hazard a guess from this, if there's a young male, anybody who's been a nuisance around the family or just coming over a lot or just, somebody in the family is having an energy with some younger energy, doesn't mean it doesn't have to be a kid, but like a younger kind of energy. I would say that energy, or if you're battling something like that, that energy is coming to a close and new beginnings are happening. I also feel like this could be some turbulence with someone around the family, maybe a neighbor or even somebody who's going to be coming into the family in some kind of way. Maybe one of your daughter's boyfriends or something like that. There's just been like a little unsettling energy. I feel like it calms down. Like you came in and you kind of took care of it for some reason is the kind of thing I'm getting. So that's really what's coming up for me. Next card I'm going to do is... just want to see who said their Aquarius moon. Liz and Aquarius moon. Wow, Pluto's going to be, you're going to have a Pluto transit on the moon. What I'm going to tell you, Liz, is that Pluto transits to the moon are some of the most intense transits a person can have astrologically. But for you, you're very evolved and you're a very spiritual person. You've done a lot of work in your life. So for you, it's probably not going to be as intense as others. But a lot of times when the moon and Pluto have a transit, it really comes into play as a deeply emotional time where you undergo a lot of change. So just, think about that. What do you know what house it's in? Because that's been something that we could do too. Yeah, Kirsten, it's been a long time since we pulled cards together. I'm going to pull one for you now. You got to come over to the house, girl. We got to have a card party. Um, so, Liz, what I want to tell you is with that Aquarius energy, that Pluto going into your moon sign, you're going to feel it. You're definitely going to feel it. So be very gentle and kind with yourself and make sure more than any time in your life, you're taking time for meditation now because you've got to really anchor into that strong part of you when you're going through that transit. All right. Yeah, look it up. And I'll look at your chart too, hon. Okay, so Kirsten, I've got King of Swords. I've got the Sun card in reverse, and I've got the Wheel of Fortune. So I think this is going to be a busy time for you. I feel like this is a time when maybe I don't know if you're seeing this good. Like here, that's better. So King of Swords, that's a Libran energy or a Earth sign male. I feel like this is an energy that's been in and out for a while. I'm getting the health card upside down, which is actually showing me usually when I read the health card is for personal health. But in this spread, I'm strongly getting that whoever this King of Swords is, not healthy relationship. And I usually don't get the Sun card as as health with the relationships, but in this instance, I'm really coming in with that. Either this person, King of Swords, is unhealthy in a physical way right now, or the relationship itself is unhealthy because this Wheel of Fortune card is just pulling on my intuition, like almost like a physical feeling of someone pulling on pulling my heart through or my chest through, like a move away feeling. Like you need to kind of move away from this energy because once you do, like the world opens up, that luck, that benevolence comes in. I'm going to pick another card for this just to confirm this energy. Yeah, this is, this card here. You can see it, whoops, on camera. The 10 of Wands, and it came in reverse, and I put it right over this health card. This is an energy where you're carrying burdens that aren't yours. You got to move away from that if you're not already doing it, because there's a lot of things that come into balance once you're kind of like moved away from that. All right. So just take that with you. Whatever you're going through, I think it gets better. I think you're through the worst of it already. But there's some energy around here that's really not healthy. I'm being told to pick another card for you. Yeah, I got the card that Liz Schneider and I, it was this way when I pulled it, affectionately call the Tiny Tim card, the Orphan in the Storm kind of card, which is, of course, the Pentacles. Yeah, there's light for you, but you're not seeing it. You're really focused on the wrong energy. You're focusing on this and the burden, and you really need to focus on the light coming through this window, the benevolence coming through in the Wheel of Fortune card, So move out of that energy that's really weighing you down, baby. Okay? All right. Next card that I'm going to pull, Ten of Wands, yep. But I feel like that can pass if you, the Tiny Tim card, yep. I feel like that can pass if you go forward. I feel like you keep, for some reason, I feel the attachment that you're having in that energy. You need to come out of that attachment. I get it. Believe me, I get it. But you got to let go of that attachment. Now is a really good time to do that with Pluto changing signs. All right. Okay. I'm going to go back up. Saturn is in Aquarius for you. So you're going to have a Pluto over Saturn transit. I just came out of 5 years of that, Elaine. It can be a little heavy. It can be a little difficult when you have Saturn in Pluto transiting. But for you, I think it's probably going to... I'm just trying to read the energy. For you, I think it's going to just open things up. I think it's going to solidify some structures for you, which is good because I know you've had some things be up in the air recently. But I think that it's going to definitely solidify some structures for you, but also bring about some really new things. So go with the flow. Really important for you not to have worry. Go with whatever flow happens, okay? And for anybody else who has Saturn in Aquarius, this is definitely going to be, anybody who has major planets in Aquarius, you're going to go through Pluto transits. So just know that this is going to be a little rough. But it doesn't have to be. If you really go towards light and you trust in the universe, no transit is horrible. I've had horrible things happen to me, but they came out to be really great stuff. So, all right. So, got to go up top because I know there's a lot of people waiting for a card. Ba, ba, ba. Stephanie's coming too. Okay, everybody's gonna come. We're gonna charge admission now. So, okay, gonna pull a card for Pauline. All right. Telling me to pick 3 cards for you, Pauline. Pauline, you're out of balance. I don't know if you're taking on too much. I feel like there's a lot of energy around you. And, okay, so Pauline, I have the 2 of Pentacles, which is out of balance, okay? That's the energy of this card coming in. It's like an energy of you want to be in balance, but you're missing the mark. You've got to slow down a little bit. I feel like you're going a million miles an hour. Your brain's going off in different directions. Then I have the Page of Cups, which is a communication card for me. Again, the cup overflowing. Good things can come in. It can be very bountiful, but I feel like you're just a lot of activity. You're really in the headspace. And then I've got the Queen of Pentacles. This card comes up for you often, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I've got pentacles on each side, and the Page of Cups telling us that your wishes can come true. But the energy I'm getting around you is that you're like, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should go here. Maybe I should go there. Got to rest that. Got to calm that down, because there's a lot of really great things that want to come in this year for you. But I feel like you're kind of blocking it. So take a little break, maybe just for a day, 24 hours, 72 hours, 48 hours, do nothing, and then go back to the task at hand. Because there's a lot of new energy that wants to come in for you, and also a lot of people that want to come in for you, which will be very benevolent for you and help you on a good path. But your head's too much stuff going on in that head of yours. All right. Next card I'm going to pick up is, just want to see this. Christina says Cancer. Christina Vance. So you're a Cancer sun. So, you're going to, in this energy, it's another water sign. I'd have to really look at your chart, Christina, but, with the new moon coming in Capricorn, that's opposing your sun. You may feel a little bit of a lack of vitality in this new moon coming in this week, but it shouldn't last too long, okay? For you in this new moon, themes of stability, security is going to come in. I want to go here, but I'm afraid to do it. That push-pull of wanting to move forward, but being pulled back by fear or security, that's going to come in a lot for you on this new moon as a Cancer, all right? I'm going to pick a card for somebody who just asked me for a card. I got Sherry here. Hi, Sherry. How are you doing? Aaron, I'll pull a couple cards for Aaron, and then I'm going to pull one for Chris Colucci. Okay, so Aaron, this is for you, my friend. Aaron, you had me laughing so hard, some of the stuff that you sent me. It was so funny. I have to tell the audience one of the things that you said for me. He's talking, it was just so funny. It was actually New Year's Eve, and he was messaging me, and he said, I keep running into my ex, and he won't let me alone. So I told him, you make it really hard for me to pretend that you've died a painful death. I just thought that just was so funny to me. I mean, it's a little bit awful, but it's not, It sounded like something almost like Cher would say back in the day, but it's so funny. How many of us feel like that sometimes? The ex won't leave us alone. They keep coming back in, and it's like, I can just picture you saying, you make it really hard for me to pretend you've died a really painful death. Because you keep coming back. Anyway, I hope you don't mind me saying that. It was just really, really funny. So, Aaron, for you, I have the Wheel of Fortune, which, again, it's in reverse, but that's because it hasn't happened yet. Very benevolent card. Stay out of competition. I know you're a little Aries, but is always wanting to compete, and you've got that fire, but you got to stay out of that, especially this year. especially if there's anyone, and I don't know who the X is or the sign, but the King of Swords is coming in regards to this energy, so that would be an earth sign. I got to tell you, move away from anything to do with competition. Really getting for you this year, you've got to really focus and anchor in on your own stuff. Like, don't let anything going on outside. Really focus in on your own thing, because that Wheel of Fortune really wants to come in for you. And I've got the Page of Wands, which is good news. All right. Fire coming in, momentum, especially when we've got all these planets going direct. So in this instance, Aaron, you really want to anchor into the things you want to do. Really focus on your agenda. I know you do your vision boards, you do a lot of things, but really put the blinders on this year and don't let anything take you out of the energy. Got the Queen of Wands too. So you got a lot of fire in this reading. So you want to make sure you're taking care of that fire, but also balancing yourself, because that Aries energy, you don't want it to go too far out. If you do, here's your Knight of Swords. That's my 911 call card, because they'll be like, ugh, 10 of Wands, but I read psychically. So a lot of times the card in a certain spread, classically, I'll get a hit. And so it doesn't always mean what it means classically for me. So it's really funny, but I do the same thing. That's why I go to Elaine for my reading, because I can't read myself. Okay. So Monica, I'm going to pull a couple of cards for you. All right. I try to read myself, but what happens is, I'm a human being, so I want a certain outcome. So I'll start to read my cards and then shuffle them up again. And those weren't the cards. No, those are cards. What does that mean? No, I want this to mean that. And you'll keep pulling your cards till it says what you want. It's like when you're a kid and you go from person to person to get the answer you want. So this is for Monica. Monica, I got the 10 of Cups, which is a very benevolent card. I feel like this is coming in the future. There's some kind of a romance coming in for you, or a commitment. All right. And then you've got the King of Wands. This is going to be a fire sign person for you. And then I've also got the card, the Seven of Swords. I'm sorry. The Six of Swords. I'm sorry. I'm reading upside down. The Six of Swords. Six of Swords means moving away from an emotional situation. So if you've got anything going on right now where you feel like you need to move away from it in order for new energy to come in, you absolutely want to be doing that. Because this is the card showing you that you should be doing that. And I've got this card, which is the 10 of Cups, which to me is like the family card, like the happily ever after card, the rainbow. All right. But definitely, yeah. See, you've got to move away from that energy. This is moving away from the energy. And then the card that I pulled on top of it is the 6 of Wands, which is recognition. So recognize wherever you really want to go. Recognize if you stay stagnant, who you will become, and allow yourself to really go into an energy where you're on a trajectory for who you really want to become, not what you are on your trajectory to become now, unless that really jives in with your agenda. You want to change some things. So move away from whatever the energy is that's pulling you down, because this new energy really wants to come in. And yeah, you got to take action. The 8 of Wands card just got pulled, and that 8 of Wands is the only card in the deck of tarot that has no people on it. That's because it's the most actionable card in the deck. And if you look at this spread right now, the way it ended up, and this is just a little lesson for those of you who want to read tarot, what have I got here on this spread? All Wands. Wands mean action in tarot. So when you see all wands like this in a spread, it means if there's something that's pulling you forward, something you know you have to do, your intuition is telling you to do, there's a situation that's over, done with, stale, get rid of it and move forward in your life big time, okay? That's what wands are doing. So clean it out, babe. Also, what I want to say when I go into an energy like this, I'm just going to give you like an analogy. When we get attached to a situation that's done, it's over with, it's past its life expectancy, it's expired, it's not doing us any good anymore. You wouldn't go to your refrigerator and pull out sour milk and drink it, or take some leftovers from Christmas that you forgot to throw out and start eating them, would you? So let the stale energy go. It's making you sick. It will make you sicker. And that's for everybody. All right. This time of year and this time in the universe, gotta let the stagnant energy go. One of the things that I do regularly is I open all the windows in the house, even though it's cold, because you got to get the energy moving. You got to get the air moving. You've got to get light in the house. Also, if you've got trees on your property blocking light from your house, get rid of them. It's really time to refresh, renew, do what has to be done that's really, really new energy. All right. Good, Monica. And we're all rooting for you. Clean out a lot. Your intuition's telling you the right thing to do. Even Elaine says she can't read herself. It's so true. Yeah, Liz says she can't read herself. No, readers can't read themselves, so we have to go to other readers. Sometimes I think readers just keep readers in business. Anyway, so if anybody has any other question they want to ask, just let me know. But I can't stress enough, guys, to clear out the stagnant energy because, hey, you got to get rid of it. Got to get rid of it. All right. And as I said, that I just pulled the grief card, fell out of the deck. So again, the new moon that's coming in Capricorn, what you want to do is definitely, new moons are great for clearing out. New moons are fresh, they're seeds. So what you want to do with when you work with moon energy and new moon is, new moons are when you set an intention, and then as the moon goes through its phases, and becomes full, that intention grows and grows and grows. So whatever you're setting your intention for this Thursday on the new moon, write that intention down, maybe even put it in an envelope and seal it if you have a home altar or if you have any sacred space. And every day you just want to maybe give some energy to that intention. It's almost like, those of us who grew up in organized religion, our grandmas and moms used to do intentions or novenas. That's kind of like new moon energy and full moon energy. It's a ritual. It's something that anchors us into the energy of newness. And I forgot totally about the commercial I was supposed to do. So we're going to tag that on to the end of the show. And I'm probably going to say goodnight to all you guys. Just let me check our comments. If there's anything else that you guys need from me, you can always ask me a question on our Zencuda Soul Space page on Facebook. And you can also find me on Zencuda on YouTube. All the shows and all the videos that we do are banked there. So if there is something in this show that you want to talk to a friend about or forward to a friend, you can always do it with the YouTube videos as well. Also, wanted to let you guys know we have a swag store on Strong Island. So if you want to buy any Zencuda merch, I've got t-shirts and all kinds of stuff there that we make, hats and everything. And also, I've even created my own oracle cards, which I've created, written all of the meanings of them and all the photos, everything on the cards. So if you're looking for those, they're called Circle of Light. They're 22 card deck that you can pull one every day. And you can also get those online in our store. So thank you so much for the first show of 2024. I am sending all of you out beautiful, beautiful vibes. There's going to be a lot of things happening this year. We're going to do some live events here down in the studio as well. So we'll let you know how you can get tickets for those reading nights. And I hope you'll all stay in touch. And please share the show. Want to get even more people in the Zencuda community this year. That is my goal, is to really help people and guide them with the astrology and the things from beyond. So good night, everybody. Sarah, Ann, everybody. And I will see you right here on the Soul Space next Monday at 7 o'clock. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you next week.
All right. Is everybody having a good time tonight or what? That's what I thought.
Everybody, it's Teresa from Tea Time. What's my show about? I interview people in the entertainment industry, producers, directors, actors, and guess what? My show is on every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on Channel 20 on Optimum TV. So tune in because it's fun, interesting, and exciting.
Hi, I'm Georgia Rose, founder of Zencuda. You can watch me on the Soul Space podcast every Friday at noon on Channel 20 for spiritual guidance, And as you all know, that is how I first opened into my own psychic gifts, was through the angelic realm, astrology. So we've got Mars and the Sun together in Scorpio, which creates a lot of combustion. In the astrological world, we call that a cazimi, and tarot. With the Four of Cups right side up, it means we have a lot of choices to make, and we're not looking at what's really being divinely given to us. We're too busy in the busyness of the choices to really see the divine intervention, the divine timing, and the divine guidance. We're the place. Watch the Soul Space podcast.